What do you think of these moves by the president and the retaliatory tariffs that we're getting from China?
Well, I heard your reference to Fleetwood Mac, and I'm reminded of I'm So Afraid, a great song, because nobody knows what can come out of a trade war. The outcomes are normally bad, nothing good. And in this case, it's really not merited based on the current situation in the U.S. auto industry, but it is perhaps a political effort to try and put pressure on China. I don't see how that's going to help American consumers. It's not going to help American workers, and it's really not going to be satisfactory to anybody in China either.
Jim, what if the end game, even if it included 6, 12 months of heightened prices and pressure, what if the end result was zero tariffs? For example, we had that story earlier in the week that it's possible the US and the EU are getting closer to an agreement where they just drop the 10% and 2.5% tariffs respectively. Would that be worth the pain in the short term, in the long term?
Well, it depends. Is the cure worse than the cold? In this case, it's not certain. And the reality is that tariffs normally don't go away once they're enacted. It's not a negotiating tactic, and it causes a great deal of uncertainty in investment decisions, production decisions, design of product. It's a very difficult situation for the auto companies. Obviously, free and fair trade is the objective, and having zero tariffs is an outcome that's appealing. But there may be a better way to get there than starting with the nuclear option and allowing the free market and the pressures from the negotiations or perhaps other regulations or restrictions to try and bring all parties to a zero tariff situation.
Jim, doesn't it upset you that China has had a 10% tariff on cars for years and years, and they haven't done anything about it?
Well, that's an interesting. That's good tweet. It's a good tweet content, but you got to look a little further than that. That's true. The number of cars coming from China, it's less than, I think, 3 or 4 per 10,000. But we have a 25% duty on trucks, and it's interesting that that wasn't noticed in this discussion. It's really on cars, and I guess the second piece of that is that the reality of our cars going to China, we don't make the kinds of vehicles that the Chinese would be using on their roads with their fuel economy. There aren't a lot of pickups there. So the real element of help for the domestic companies isn't really there in this trade war, but the fear and the potential of higher prices, less chances of choice, lower production, unemployment, that is real.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.